Oh yeah, Steel Dragon. No, it's not the band from that weird Mark Wahlberg film from the 90s. It's a fantastic vertically scrolling shooter, so let's get straight into it. Now, as you can see, the graphics are amazing and that sound is, oh, it's superb. It feels like this is going to be a hell of a game, and you know what? You'd be right. I mean, look at this thing. It's the standard vertically scrolling arcade shooter. We just picked up the first power up there, an S which gives you extra speed on your weapons. It's also a P which increases the power of your weapons, and you're going to want to pick them up because there are 4 or 5 different power levels and you want the highest because whenever you die, you will lose a power level. And also, here's another thing that's very cool. There are 3 different types of weapon. You've got the weird lightning bolt, which I personally don't like. You've got the missiles, and you've got the standard shooting laser beams. It's very cool, and each of them can be powered up. Personally, I would go for either the missiles or the laser beams. The electric looks cool, like we're seeing here, where it's going across every enemy on screen and electrocuting them, but the power is much lower on that than compared to the other ones. So when you get to a big boss, you really want to be using the missiles or the lasers because the electric just won't cut it. Speaking of bosses, we're going to get to them soon, and there are many of them and they're weird, but we want to talk about the levels first. Now, the levels are standard fare for a vertically scrolling shooter. You start off on the ground doing usual thing in a sort of semi-military kind of area, and then it progresses through various enemy bases until you end up in space. As we can see here, we're now in space and it looks amazing. The use of colours and the palettes that have been chosen are amazing. I adore the colour scheme on this game. It just works so well, and it means that all of the enemies stand out quite nicely. You don't have anything that creeps up on you. And once we get past space, we end up on an alien base and we have to fight a load of enemies there. And unfortunately, I can't tell you what happened after that because I'm not good enough at this game to progress past Section 3 of level 7. There are 4 sections per level, and I just couldn't get past level 7. The game gets progressively harder and harder and harder, and yes, you can just keep putting in credits and going through the game, and eventually if I did that, after a couple of hours I'd have probably powered through the whole game, but it wouldn't have been right for giving you an impression of what the game is like. The game is hard, really hard, and that's the kind of thing that you want from a proper arcade style shooter. So I have no problem with it being hard, and I think given the way it's all set out and how well it plays, I think you'll be happy with it too, even though it is hard. So, speaking of hard, let's have a look at these bosses. Are they hard? Well, some of them are. This first one that we fight, it's sort of walking tank thing. It's not that difficult. Just avoid its shots, which are in clear patterns, and keep shooting it until it explodes. It's very simple. The second one is a giant plane, and yeah, if you've played any sort of shooter, you know what to do here. Just kill all of the guns and then kill the final central piece, and it'll explode in a huge amount of flames, and that's it. It's not difficult, it's just about the patterns and getting through the extra little gun turrets that it's got so that you don't get swamped and it doesn't turn into a bullet hell. Yeah, it's very simple and formulaic in that respect, but it won't matter because you're not here for very long, because after that you get this weird, I don't know what this is. It's got a definite pattern to its fire, but it looks like a squid monster. I have nothing against squid monsters, I think they work very well as bosses, but it's a bit weird. So after that, it tones it down a little bit with, oh my goodness, it's some sort of futuristic plane. Yeah, it's not. Fight the futuristic plane and a giant robot comes out of it and fights you. So yeah, it's very Japanese, isn't it? But the giant robot is pretty cool, and again, it looks a bit like a bullet hell, but the firepower that it's got is in very definite patterns. If you get past the giant robot, you have another giant robot, this time in space. This one has standard patterns as well, but it will attack you with its giant fists that are on some sort of spring system. And after that, another giant robot. They really like their giant robots with this game, don't they? My goodness. This one's difficult because its patterns change here and there, but once you've got the hang of it, you can kill it. It's not too bad. You will have to learn the pattern though. And that's as far as I could get. I can't get further because, again, like I said, level 7 really did kick my ass, but I don't mind because it's the type of game that I'm going to come back to anyway. Whether I beat it, whether I lost, I'm still going to come back because this is a fantastic game. It's reasonably well priced at the moment as well on PS2. I believe it is out on Saturn as well, although I couldn't tell you where to get it, or whether it's even called Steel Dragon. I'm not sure it is. I've heard different names for that one. But if you get a chance, play Steel Dragon in whatever form, on whatever format, and with whichever name it's going by. Get this game, play it, you will love it. I loved it, I recommend it. I'll see you next time. Today's video is brought to you by my graphic novels, The Collected Life of Naughty Mouse, Volume 1, All Over the House, Volume 1, and All Over the House, Volume 2. Thank you.